Hello. I'm going to be doing the notes this way for you guys because unfortunately Miss Messina's at a meeting and I am down with a virus that is really, really nasty. So just bear with it. We'll try what we can. You're going to be doing the notes in class while you watch the video. Okay, so this one we're going to be doing is two-way tables with probability. So here we see a big table with juniors and seniors, and they were asked to vote on a theme. Oops, just a minute. Let me make a copy of this. Everything never goes properly, but that's all right. So we have juniors and seniors that are voting on a theme for prom, and the themes are going to be the casino, masquerade ball, and Arabian Nights. And with tables, if you read across, we can see the total number of juniors is 362, while the total number of seniors is 387. And if we ask for all students who voted, we get 749. Now we can also do that with the columns. So out of everybody who voted for the casino, we know we have 290. Masquerade, the ones who voted were 371, while Arabian Nights only chose 88. All right. When we read these sentences, hopefully you guys remember, the first thing that we see is going to be our denominator. Okay. So here it says the senior votes were counted first. So senior votes is going to be that 387. And then we look at what's next, and that will give us a probability. What is the probability? A senior chose a casino theme. Then we look for casino theme, senior only, and that's going to be 190. And then remember, you've been practicing this with Miss Messina. You're going to take your handy dandy calculator out. You're going to divide it. And then if dividing it, and then we get 0.49. Oops. If I touch anything else, it changes. Sorry. 490. So that 0 means we're just fine. And if we times it by 100, we're going to get this to be 49%. So 49% of the students chose the casino theme. So the next one we're going to do is the masquerade ball votes were considered. So masquerade ball, we're going to go with all of them. So the bottom number is going to be 371. And what is the probability that one of the masquerade votes came from a junior? So we're going to look under masquerade, and we look at junior, 212. Then take out your handy dandy calculator. You're going to write what the decimal is, please. And then timesing it by 100 or moving the decimal 2 places to the right, you get 57%. So just as a reminder, on the test that we will be having pretty soon, you will have to write the fraction and the percent to get this correct. All right, now the next one, it says one of the votes was picked at random. Whenever we say at random, we're always looking at our total. So that one is going to be 749. Now we say, what is the probability for an Arabian Night theme? And it didn't say if it was juniors or seniors, so we're going to go with the total, which is 88. Okay, use your calculator, divide it. And then you're going to multiply it by 100 to get your percent. On this one, you should get 12%. If you got 11%, then you forgot to round. The decimal was 0.117. Remember, we're looking at that third number, and it will tell us if we need to keep the second number the same or do we raise it. Because it's bigger than 5, we're going to raise it. All right. Next one of the votes was picked at random. So again, we're going to use that 749. What is the probability that it was a junior choosing an Arabian Nights? So now we're getting a little bit more specific. So juniors and Arabian Nights, we're going to do the 50. Definitely a very small number. Go ahead and divide it. And with this one, I'm going to write it down to is 0.066. So we only need to write to the 3 numbers because we're only looking at those numbers. Since the 6 is bigger than 5, we're going to make that one go up, and you times it by 100. It should be 7%. So very small amount actually chose this. Okay. Now we're going to be doing these. So now we're going to fill in the table. Okay, so it looks like it's a little hard, but it's actually very easy. As long as you have 2 numbers in each column or row, you can figure out the rest of them. So I'm going to start on the very right side. I know our total is going to be 300. And I know that to get that 300, I have to add 153 plus whatever this number is. So I'm going to go 300 minus 153. And that gives me 147. And I'm going to do the exact same thing going across. If I want to do that top one, the top row, I know my top number has to equal, for hip hop, has to equal 153. I know one number is 73. So I'm going to go 153 minus 73. And I'm going to get 80. Okay. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. We're going to find rock, arena, and then we're going to find the total. We can do the total 2 different ways, and we'll do that in a second. But go ahead and find in the rock for arena. So you're going to take your 2 numbers across and subtract it. Now to get the total, we could do the same thing. We could go 300 minus 172, or we can go 73 plus 55 will give us the total of how many were in the arena. You will get the exact same number, which is really nice. Well, you want it to be nice. I want it to work because it's going to give you the total for this. Now, we're going to be writing 3 probability statements. Now, Miss Messina and I do it 2 different ways. You could write it exactly as one of our sentences above. I have no problem with that. And then you have to give us the fraction and the percent so we can check it out. We're also we can also write it as a statement. I personally like writing it as a statement. Miss Messina likes writing it as a question mark because you already have the examples. So think about what you want to do as your overall number first. So if we were in class, I would have you guys pick, but not. We're going to do it this way. So I'm going to say maybe out of all the arena concerts. So I'm going to think about arena and all of them. So I'm going to just go, so out of all arena concerts. And then I'm going to put a comma, and that's where I'm going to start putting in my fraction. And then I'll put my equals. And I'm going to figure out what my percent and everything is in just a minute. Excuse me. From here, I can now go a little bit more specific. Do I want to do rock? Do I want to do hip hop? Whatever I want to do. I'm going to say rock because I like rock. I'm going to say 55, and I'll come back and fill that in, whatever that percent of it is. So out of all the arena concerts, whatever that percentage of it is, were rock concerts. Whoops, I'm spelling wrong today. And then I go back on my calculator and times it by 100, and I'm going to get 42.9, which is going to give me 43%. Okay? And then we're going to keep going. And the nice thing with this one, I can keep going and I can say out of all the arena concerts, and I can change it to hip hop and do that. Or I can go out of all the outdoor concerts and I can do hip hop and rock. That would give me four total. Okay. And on the test, you will have to write, I believe it is 4 sentences, 3 to 4 sentences, and they are worth the majority of the points. Okay. So that's why we're going to be working on these a lot. So my next one, I'm going to do just a little bit different. I'm going to change my things around. I'm going to say out of all the hip hop concerts. And I know with all my hip hop concerts, I'm going to be using the number 153. And I know I'm going to get some fraction and a percent. Now I have to decide, do I want arena or outside? And I'm going to do a little bit different this time. I'm going to say were outside. And so if it's outside, I know it's going to be 80. And I'm going to go 80 divided by 153. And then times it by 100. And I get 52.2. So it's just going to be 52%. Okay. Now the third one is one that we had at the very top where it says out of all the random. Okay. So instead of saying out of all the random concerts, I could have said out of all concerts. And that's telling me all the concerts that we have. So that's 300. Now I could be very specific and I can say we're indoor hip hop. I could say outdoor rock, or I could just be very generic. We're hip hop, we're rock, we're outside or arena. So I just need to narrow that down from out of all of them to a little bit narrow it down. So this one, I'm going to say we're rock. And that means if they were all rock, it's going to be 147. Okay, and then you're going to put it in your calculator, 147 divided by 300, times it by 100, and we're going to get 49%. Okay, so this is the end of the notes. Please make sure that you do have them all written, and then you're going to get the assignment from the sub and put these notes in your notebook. Don't forget about that. And on the assignment, you will have to write your own sentences. So either write them as question marks and then have the percent and fraction at the end, or put it in the middle, just like mine. You choose which ones you want to do because everybody has their own way of doing it. All right, and I should be back on Thursday. I'm hoping this virus is not very fun. All right. Have a good one. Be good for the sub, please. Okay.